Hey, what is up, you guys? Alchemist Ganjier here. Ooh. Yeah, here, I got the volume for you guys. I got it. Hope you guys are having an awesome Monday. I hope you guys had an amazing weekend. Uh, just like right out the bat, I just want to say like shout out to Garrett Farms and shout out to just like all of the amazing people out there. You know, like Doc Ray. I, I mean, there literally so many people were out at Garrett Farms. It was just a really amazing time. The vibes, the knowledge that was like going around, just like yeah, it was definitely awesome. And if like you hadn't had a chance to make it out and see us, I did drop a video yesterday that like showed off a little bit of like what to expect. I mean, it really was like not even the tip of the iceberg. It was like kind of a shaving off the top. I should have a cameraman doing stuff in the future when I plan on also like doing any speaking. But you know, still though there was still some really good information there. We made sure to glean. It was just a really amazing time. Hey, what's up, Marcy? Happy Monday! Happy Monday! Uh, also, just I guess a little bit of other news before we get into our main topic for the night. I would make like more of a bigger thing about it, but I had only recently found out. So some of you guys may have heard that Indie Labs had announced on Facebook that they were not going to be doing any testing after I believe September 24th. And I reached out to some trusted sources that are very close with Indie Labs to find out more on the matter. And apparently, where it is right now is that they are not providing COAs after the 24th. But if you still want to get testing done, that just won't come with like a an analysis that is certified. Then you can still do that. Um, so what it's really sounding like is maybe more of a red tape like situation, like you know, kind of like hey, you could go to like a programming school, or you could go to like YouTube University. They both give you the same set of skills, but one of them is a piece of paper that like kind of like speaks for itself. But I am still learning more about this like whole situation. But like, if many of you guys had heard that like Indie Labs announced that they weren't doing testing after that date, I was like kind of shocked because you know I was just talking like what like last week I think even just about how they're like a really great option in the area. So like they're still worth reaching out to if you have some testing needs. They may be able to like help you in some way. So that is just something to keep in mind. Hey, what's up, Alex? How you doing, man? How you doing? But yeah, so like a couple of those things, to keep in mind, like I said, really awesome weekend. Make sure to check out the video. It's posted on my page and also on my YouTube channel. But yeah, it was a really good time, and also, yeah, there were snakes. Yeah. Now, so of course, you know, for today, I'm going to like guide you through the, you know, the foggy realms of cannabis knowledge, and today we are unpacking THC-O, which some people like of you watching may have heard it as more of a like a hot button topic like a couple of years ago, and is kind of like popping back up in the media due to some recent like court stuff going on. And so just as a general refresher, you know, like I mean, we're really going to get into THCO today. So I guess like there won't be anything too much general refresher about it. I don't know. We'll see. But like THCO is a synthetic cannabinoid. This enigma that's like wrapped in a whole lot of legal controversies and scientific mystery in a way. And with this great potency also comes great responsibility. What we're going to be talking about today, like I'm curious on your guys' take on this entire thing and how it plays. Like, how should the cannabis industry handle powerful synthetics? I am, because if we look at like other industries that do powerful synthetics, like the pharma, like they have to do those commercials where they list out, like, even if it's in quick fine print, like all the things that it can do, but like they got to tell you what it does. So also, so the other thing is like what kind of like consumer education, like if there, if any, should be necessary for these things that are being introduced. Because I don't believe that any company that's pushing THC acetate is a THC-O acetate is really like educating folks on like the full nature of it and like the potential harms that go with it. At least not that I've seen. So yeah, all that stuff. The ethical responsibilities of producers and also consumer rights. So like these are things that I want to kind of be like muddling as we kind of talk about this stuff today. And also, we are going to be checking out this cultivar. In fact, we can start getting into that right now. That I got from my boy, Mr. Mud, who was also at the pruning and socializing event at Garrett Farms. Really awesome guy, like Roger. Been growing. For a minute, we'll say, and does a wide variety of cultivation styles. Like he does talented work with hydroponic. Like I've seen some of his pot work, and also his flower has produced some very 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 lovely like hash rosin. And hash in general. In fact, we were starting to check out a temple ball that he had made over the weekend, but I forgot to really get into it. But I digress. This cultivar we have here, this Wa Ting, this is actually a product of his making. He has been mixing genetics for a while. Like he like it isn't somebody that puts himself out there as like a breeder or anything like that. So if you guys are like oh, why haven't I heard of this guy? Oh, just another one of those movie breeders. That's not everyone he's trying to do. This is just stuff he likes to do. he really has a passion for it. And honestly, that's the people that I really like paying attention to as well, because when you have a passion for it and you're pursuing like certain things, you get something special. And with this Wa Ting, the parents on this cultivar, I believe, or let me check his. Yes, it's Strawberry Snow Cone, crossed with Alien Struggle Bus number 11. I've always been a fan of Alien Struggle Bus for sure. Strawberry Snow Cone is actually one that I've not terribly familiar with myself. I've heard a lot about it, but I just have never sampled that one. So that so I'm curious to see like how this one comes out. But yeah, we're gonna be taking a look at this, and then we'll get into our main story at hand with the THC-O. Let's words. Let's take a look at this baby. Oh, hey, what's up, Raj? So we do have the grower in the chat, guys. So I'm guessing he's talking about THC-O. He's tried it, didn't care for it, tasted terrible, and the effects weren't for me. Yes, it is. Now this, however, this could be for me. This could be for me. All right, so let's take a closer look. Yeah. All right. So we're looking at here. This is it's a little bit of a rougher cut. Me, I'm not shy about the fan leaves because they help protect the bud. But you look at this, it's got a nice like loose structure to it. Okay. And like soft. At first, like it seems like it's a bit like there is a bit of a crunch, but that crunch is actually still just like the leaves coming off. And like there's a couple of horns on here. But the aromas that we're getting with this, I'm getting like elements of some eucalyptus and some mint. There's some pine with a kind of like a vegetal. No, a nice earthy foresty balance. Like one that like I imagine. In fact, he was telling me that when he first sampled this cultivar, It was like a bit of a head rush for him, and really like just like wow. But with like the cure that this had, I forget he didn't. I did not think to ask what the cure was for this particular cultivar, because he gave me a few like to pick between. Um, that he hooked me up with. But yes, we are going to give this a breakdown. I am, in fact, the way this is feeling, I think I'm gonna like finger grind this. Um, I think it'll respond to that quite well. So let's go ahead and pick some of this fan leaf. All right. Oh, not fan leaf, sugar leaf. My bad. I've been doing a lot of defoliating. All right. Okay. And yes, but if I had to guess, I would say this is like it's been curing for like at least a couple of months. But this finger grind, it feels really nice. Like you see that, like it didn't. It's not like overly ground, but it broke up really easily, and like I can like feel the trichomes between my fingers. They're like got this velvety kind of sand texture to it that like I like this could be a very good washer. Um, and that's like a like fun fact for those like if you're like, curious about your grows and whether or not your flower would be good for washing, if like you're interested in doing bubble hash or anything like that. Like rubbing the bud or rubbing the leaves like a little bit towards like the end of flower, like when the trichome development's pretty good, right? And then after you get some of those trichomes on your fingers, you just kind of rub your fingers together and see how it feels. If you can feel the trichome heads just kind of like little balls rolling between your fingers, and it feels like velvety, and it's not getting real tacky or sticky or greasy or anything, it's gonna be a good wash. Um, or it could be a good wash. Whereas like though you like as but if you do get that sticky or the extra greasy or whatever, you may not get as much like biomass off of it. But yeah, let's go ahead and pack this up. Yeah, boy. All right. In fact, after we get this packed up, I'm gonna let's see if we can get the scope on this on this flower to see how it's looking up close. Just real quick. Um, 'Cause I forgot to do that before we started this grind. Um, Nice little like sweet. It's like sweet pine, sweet cedar. But yes, let's go ahead. Yep, bam. Oh wait, no, not that way. Not that one. Yeah, that one. Uh oh, don't drop it now. All right. Yeah, this is very good maturity to this. Lots of ambering in it. Yeah, really good color in this trichomes. Reasonable intactness, although we're probably looking at like maybe a little less than 50% on the surface trichome. But that can be a harder task to pull off when you have more of a looser structure to the bud. Yeah, so let's go ahead and hit this thing and then get into the story. Where is the double cam? Wow, baby. Yo, let's go. All right. John, this is Wa Ting by Mr. Mud. Cheers, you guys. Oh my gosh. Wow. Wow. Okay. um. Wow. Yeah, that's the head rush. Yeah. And he said that he called it Wa Ting, because he originally wanted to call it Wa Wa. But uh, then there's the store name, right? The gas station store. And the reason why I cut it because the first time he ever hit it, it gave him this head rest. It was kind of like wah wah, and I get it. I get it. That's quite a rush. I imagine if I had like took a smaller bowl, like more of a like, hey, let's like get into some work type stuff, like size bowl, that this could be like quite focusing because like the rush, it jacked me really quick, but like there's something that's also like very clear and kind of stabilizing with it. It's like almost like being in a fast car, but it also has really good suspension and control. You know what I mean? So it doesn't feel like it, because you could be like you could be in like a junked up Civic going 60 miles an hour and feel like you're going way too fast, and then being like like a proper like faster luxury car or sports car going like buck 20, and being like, oh shit, we're going that fast. But yeah, now, oh my gosh. The flavor on the exhale, very different from, not very different, but different enough from the aroma. Like there was a lot more of a nice like broad spectrum kind of earthy kind of like flavor from it that had this like effervescence. There was something almost like incense, like, or like hashy kind of a um and now, of course, like with having it in my senses, smelling like it on my fingers from the finger grind, I'm getting like almost like Indian like herbs from it, like not like what's that King of Spices one? Shit, I can't remember what it's called, but like whatever. Um, why it'll come to me. We're gonna move on for this story, guys, because this THCO, um, or THCO acetate, right? This like it steps out of the shadows, really, of its more famous cousin THC, where it's been hiding these last few years, or last couple of years, last 24 months. Um, but let's focus more on where it came from, right? Okay, so it's created in labs from CBD. And this compound isn't like just any cannabinoid. It's 3 times stronger. Okay, um, its synthesis involves chemicals that really could like start a thriller or something, like like about like some new super drug out there. Um, and okay, so this and what we're talking about here is acetic anhydride. Okay, now this is used in like explosives and stuff. I mean, granted, like it's used in a few other things, but like I mean, it's used in explosives. Um, but why use something like this to create such a compound? Okay, we're gonna dig into the science, and then get to like hopefully we can get to the why. All right, um, now THCO doesn't just stand out for its effects, but also right this intriguing production process. So, like I said, it starts with CBD, and yeah, CBD is non-intoxicating, right? Like water or something like that. Um, Now, this compound, that's used for pain relief, and anxiety relief, and also, is like all the attention it caught for seizures. Um, now, this is something you're going to want to keep in mind, okay? Right, the seizures. Now, through the wonders of chemistry, CBD undergoes a transformation into something much more potent. Okay, so after the CBD is extracted from legally grown hemp, right? You get that crude oil, and then you turn that down into the extract, right? They will then convert that extracted CBD, that extract into oh boy, I almost sneezed. It's probably gonna come later and it's gonna surprise all of us. All right, so the CBD is then turned into delta 8 THC. Right now, this step itself is quite a feat because, in order to do it, you have to do very, very, very careful controlling of temperatures and solvents, to get this process. But this and this is, I guess, now you have something that creates a psychoactive effect. Like the wine. Okay. Um, but the real magic, we'll call it, happens in this next step, and that is acetylation. Okay. And acetylation, this process happens is when you take the acetic anhydride, um, right, and you take this chemical, right. Okay, hold on. Okay, yeah, it's used in aspirins, it's used in dyes, right, in addition to explosive, right. But okay, aspirin, that's not so harmful, right? We ain't smoking aspirin. Okay. Hey, right. Let's be clear about that. Um, Now, right. So the acetic anhydride, when introduced to delta 8 THC, right, it transforms into the molecule THC-O acetate. All right. Now this compound, right, like I said, far greater psychoactive potential, but it's gone through now two chemical changes in order to get here, and one of them is using a highly flammable, explosive, and corrosive compound. Um, and just imagine, right, you could turn water into wine, and then wine into hard liquor. Um, and that's kind of similar to what's happening here. Um, and The only problem is that while they're toting it like it's some type of new way to get vodka out of nothing, in actuality, it is potentially presenting itself much more similarly to maybe isopropyl alcohol. There could be a use for it, but it certainly isn't going to be in its ingestion the way that it's being sold potentially, right? Right. So this process, that makes it much more potent, is what happens, right? Delta 8 THC gets acetic anhydride, and then it becomes acetylated, where this an acetate group attaches to the molecular structure, and that greatly increases its ability to travel across the blood-brain barriers, right? That's another thing to keep in mind, right? This is ramping up its permeability through the blood-brain barrier. Our blood-brain barriers exist to help modulate what is entering into our brain. So this is something to be mindful about. But also in doing so, this subsequently increases its potency. And it's important to note that, right, this process isn't not something that can be done at home, right? Like I said, it requires stringent safety measures. So this has to be done in a lab under strict conditions, very, very strict, because it's so flammable and corrosive, right? So we need a lot of regulation and oversight. In industrial settings, right? This would be carried out with specialized equipment in labs. They're with folks that are trained to handle these chemicals safely and to ensure that the reaction occurs correctly, and that the consumer is getting a consistently good product. So the next time you hear about THC, okay, um, you got to remember that there's a complex chemistry at play. Now, all of that, right, requires safety protocols. Um, Now this this is a testament to the science behind the sensations that cannabis can produce, right? Okay, that that they're creating like these synthetic equivalents to try and do all this other stuff. But as always, right, understanding the how helps us appreciate the why and ensure that we approach these products with the respect and caution that they deserve. Um, Now, THC-O has been marketed as a psychedelic cannabinoid. Now, hearing I like what okay, but what's the real story like behind these claims? Okay, because I did some digging to get to the bottom of these claims of like psychedelic experiences. So we're gonna look a little bit closer at some user experiences, expert opinions, and like what recent studies like one from University of Buffalo has to say about these intense effects. Now, the University of Buffalo, there was a study led by Dr. Daniel Kruger, that was pivotal in challenging these myths around THCO and having psychedelic effects. They found that while some of the users reported experiences that they described as psychedelic, these effects were not consistent with what you'd expect with like classic psychedelics like LSD or psilocybin or anything like that. Instead, what emerged was a picture of psychoactive effects, right? Like very strong euphoria, like altered sense of time and relaxation, like just like extreme weed effects, often influenced by the user's expectations or potentially even by contaminants in the products. Right now, let us remember, right? Salem witch trials, all those chicks that were like hallucinating all the witch stuff. It was the wheat, like the wheat, like had a mold on it that made people trip the f out. Um, Now, Dr. Kruger um, pointed out that these intense effects, like these highs that they were getting, they might be more about the marketing and less about the actual like pharmacology of THCO. So like this is just like this could be like a sense of like this placebo effect like being so strong, because the market was already flooded so much with like these claims, um, that like what they were experiencing was was not necessarily like an actual psychedelic experience, but an actually just a very extreme high, um, that is similar to cannabis. Um, um, Now, moreover, the study, it did highlight also like concerns about the production quality, like I was just talking about with the THC products. They emphasized that there was a risk of contamination, and that there was a serious issue in an unregulated market. Um, I mean, because you think about it, like who's regulating them? They're like everyone's going crazy right now over the fact that like legal like cannabis companies in California are like they're fudging their lab tests, and like a lot of them are turning out to actually like be failing now when they're being looked at more closely. And we're gonna sit here and think that some rando like THC like hemp company, THCO company, that doesn't have any responsibility to legal oversight, no matter who they are, or Chai 3, or who the hell ever. Like, you don't think that they have no incentive to lie about their stuff? Like, if like who's checking that? And like it's all about money with like so much of this stuff, and I like THCO, like I I already knew like because I did a lot of research when THCO was first coming out, and I learned how bad it was very quickly because people were reporting negative experiences early on too. It's been consistent, but like I went back into like Reddit and other forums looking through, like there's some people that are like trying to like really hardline that like THCO isn't that bad now, and like a in like one cannabis like Reddit, but going through like all of, like the older forums, going through like horrors, going through like all these like past things, people talking about their experiences with shit, and like you like across so many of them, users often speak that like they talk about uh they speak on like it being the most intense high that they've ever felt, um which like they didn't just come with euphoria, like but like extreme anxiety and paranoia, like basically like what might happen if you had some very strong like degraded like quality weed, that like is just like off the rails, like not actually good weed, might as well be like freaking spice or something. And sometimes like an incredibly overwhelming, like extreme sedation, like the ultras, like a super couch lock, right? So so these sound like like the way cannabis like impacts us, but just in a very extreme kind of way. Um, and also just this mixed bag of effects because THCO is an extract. It's a transformed molecule. Um, cannabis gets its effects from the entourage effect. Like THC by itself, by and large, is just going to kind of respond to like you and your environment, like your mindset and your setting that you're in, and how you interpret your setting. Um, so the fact that THCO is like all over the place like this, like when you can like when you consider factors like individual biology, and then the absence of any type of like standardization of product quality, like I mean, like, were they surprised that like they were getting this mixed bag of effects from like THCO products like at all? Um, and yeah, so checking in with this like Wa Ting, like this thing is like I like it got me up. Like I got energy. I don't feel like it's too intense. I don't feel like buggy, but like man, I like it's definitely got some energy. It's weird. Like cause it's like I got this pressure around the eyes, and a little bit of dry eye, kind of like what I would expect with like a headband, which is a little more relaxing. And I mean, not that a headband is relaxing, but like it's a little more relaxing than this. This is like, yeah, like I'm like, man, I mean, granted, I got some feelings on THCO, but I am, yeah, so I definitely get that like that, wow, wow, this, it's very, very smooth. I don't remember if I said it before or after I hit it, but that was a smooth hit, and then just the resin, like hit me, and just like, whew, boy, it really catapulted me there for a second, and then I just kind of like, yeah. um, where was I? Um, oh yeah, okay, so wow, all right. THCO can offer a more intense experience, right? It's pretty clear. It's been well established for years now. And I mean, honestly, I don't like. Part of me like thought that it would didn't want to do this one in particular because I kind of thought that it's so obvious THCO isn't like good for you. But like there were some people that I had seen on social media that were like just so like about it. I mean, granted, I had like shared some sources and like other articles that like support this, but I was like, what, maybe people don't know as much about THCO. So like, no, let's talk. Like, we're talk about it, right? I mean, it's like it's clear. Like, I mean, at least to me, that like that this intensity that THCO is like giving isn't without risks. Like it brings us back to a crucial point, and that's regulation. Because like as consumers, understanding like what we put into our bodies is vital, and as a community, like pushing for regulatory standards is crucial to ensuring like there's safe and reliable products available. I mean, like if TC is like an awesome bike, then THCO is like one of those like overpowered electric scooters that's absolutely going to kick out from underneath you and make you like crash into a car or die on the highway. Like no, not like that. Like that's a bit extreme. Like die on the highway. Like but like it's overpowered like multiple like times over like chemically transformed product. I am. I mean, yeah, rockets are fun, but they're also tricky to handle and probably are not for trips to the grocery store. Um, I mean, some people call it the psychedelic one. There is something like that. I call this, like THC, like crack, because it's like even though I made the wine and liquor comparison, like there's something about the whole thing that also just very much reminds me of kind of like crack because first you got like the coca leaves, then you gotta like to put it through a chemical process right to make it into cocaine, and then you put it through another chemical process to turn it into crack. Right? You're taking weed, you're putting it through a chemical process to turn hemp into uh, into delta 8, and then you're putting it through another chemical process that turns it into a much stronger version of that has a shorter high, like, and also has health, like more health risks associated with it because like we haven't even really fully gotten to that part yet. But like, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Cause like this line that THCO is like uh, this maze, um, is I don't know, it's like a house of mirrors or whatever, where they're just like constantly trying to like make themselves look like other shit to try and like trick and f around and cause all these other problems. I mean, like because recently, and the reason why I am doing this cast today is like, is it like a court ruled that THCO was legal hemp under the 2018 Farm Bill, um, and that like that basically it could be sold like without being like inhibited or infringed upon. Now, like my problem with this is that like the DEA just announced that they're doing another town hall for cannabis legalization or rescheduling. I'm sorry, rescheduling. Which means that we ain't gonna like be seeing any sort of type of like hope of like even a conversation about legalization in any real form until like the beginning of next year. So you're telling me that like you're gonna over here and as a court make a statement saying that THCO is cool, yet real cannabis is somehow wrong? Like, and granted, it's not the same court, so like I know, I'm oversimplifying these things, but the only thing that really came out of this that I was like I was for, but then it kind of pissed me off because like when do I ever agree with the DEA on anything? But like the DEA said like called BS on the THCO thing, and I was like, yeah, you know what? I call BS on that too. Like you're not gonna sit there and take away a holistic natural product that has no like problems and then give people that instead. That it's something about just like it just screams like crack in the ghettos in the 90s, like from like the CIA and shit. Like it just made me just like it just made my skin crawl. Like hearing that was all happening and that it was announced within a week of each other. Like so, let's explore this legal. tug of war, and what it means for consumers and the industry. Okay, so navigating these legal ties of THCO, right, really is as complex as the compound itself, right? We've seen significant legal battles and court rulings that could fundamentally alter how cannabinoids like THCO are classified and regulated. Let's break down these developments and what they mean for a future. Um, so, right, this court ruling, right, this very pivotal moment. It's I hope it's challenged. um, like this came when a U.S. appeals court ruled that THCO qualifies as legal hemp under this bill, right? Now, this decision actually directly challenges the DA's stance because they already have an established thing. They say THCO is no, it's no, that's wrong because they're against all that shit. Granted, of all of them, a THCO would be the one I would agree with. Um, and they have historically treated all synthetically derived cannabinoids as controlled substances, and basically this court's ruling emphasizes that if the cannabinoid is derived from hemp and contains less than zero point 0.3 THC, it should be considered legal hemp and not a controlled substance. um, Now, that all comes down to the same type of BS play that remember when Spice and K2 and all that stuff was a thing and why it kept coming around even though they kept criminalizing it. This is why. Because they're just saying no, well, this is slightly different, so technically it's legal. Now, there has been recent legislative efforts to try and close these loopholes that have allowed all this proliferation of synthetic cannabinoids. Um, there was this bill from Representative Miller, yeah, that was seeking to exclude synthetically manufactured cannabinoids from the definition of legal hemp. This amendment, if it passed, could significantly impact THCO products by classifying them alongside more strictly regulated substances. Although it wasn't clear if that meant that it would be putting them on the schedule of controlled substances, though. I think I didn't. Um, but these legal changes do have a ripple effect because on one hand, tighter regulation could lead to better safety standards and more reliable products, but then on the other hand, it could really stifle innovation and restrict access to these compounds for both recreational and medicinal uses because like we said, we don't really fully understand what it can do, but what is kind of obvious is that it shouldn't be pushed as a recreational drug. The cannabis industry, including both proponents and opponents of synthetic cannabinoids, we're kind of at a crossroads with that. Because we really do need to grapple with this balance between innovation, safety, and access. Um, So I mean, sorry. So as all of this legal bullshit unfolds, the landscape of cannabis, regulations, it's gonna keep it's we're get ready, folks. It's gonna keep being like just dramatic and just lots of waves. Um, the decisions made in the coming months could define the future of THCO, but and I mean beyond that, I mean really the entire spectrum of the cannabinoids, because really this is I kind of my whole worry is that the more they stall with all this stuff, is that I'm worried that they're slowly trying to put in basically a patchwork of laws that kind of makes it pointless, or it kind of makes it irrelevant if they like change the scheduling or not, because they could create a situation where it doesn't matter, and even if they change the scheduling, we still can't have access to it. Like there's so many ways they could try and like fuck us back, you know. Um, so for those of us who are passionate about cannabis culture and advocacy, staying informed and engaged with these issues is like really more crucial than ever, especially when we're hearing like announcements like this. It's like uh, THCO, um, in addition to uh, um, so right, so we talked about like the euphoria and the reported hallucinations. Like of course there's like the heightened sensory perception and like there's relaxation that people like that they have reported. Um, but one of the some of the more concerning things that have come with the reports of THCO is like people like reporting like severe dizziness with it. Like or what do they call that? What sort of like just like losing your balance real hard, vertigo. Yeah. Um, Seizures. Uh, which I think is just crazy if you think about it because it started off as CBD, like that can help seizures, and they turned it into something that can trigger like that can cause seizures. Um, it wasn't really clear from what I was like finding on like if it was like triggering seizures in people who like were already prone to seizures. Like they didn't like talk much about like a medical history for the people that were having it, but that like that people were having like seizures from that enough for it to be reported as a side effect. Like it needs to find online like THCO side effects. But like yeah, so I'm curious on like what you guys think on like that like this stuff. Like, I mean, what they do, like, what do you guys think is like the right thing to do as far as like regulating like these like synthetic cannabinoids? And if like, cause like right now, like the areas that are going to see it the most are going to be the areas that don't have access to regular cannabis. But yeah, let me see what like some of y'all said here in the commenters. You said Alex. You said that that's a lot like the synthetic psychedelic for ACO DMT that they are putting into some of the mushroom gummies is DMT in a gray area and it's still terrible for you. It hospitalized many. Yes, that is precisely the type of stuff that we are talking about. And I know just what you're talking about. I very unfortunately was exposed to that at one point. And I did not enjoy it at all. It was a very uncomfortable experience. Like that is exactly what that gummy was like. um, but yeah, no, yeah. Thank you. Like okay, but also Rock Farm. I just saw your comment, and you're absolutely right. I was actually about to say that. I was just about. That was the next thing I was going to talk about. It's like Chevron doctrine was canceled by the Supreme Court. So that so that is what opened O back up. Yes. Like that is correct. Very very great deduction. Rock Farm. Uh, yeah. Um, it's created a whole. And I said this. I feel like I might have talked about Chevron doctrine maybe like a month and a half ago back or like back when it happened, and that like that it could have like an impact like on the cannabis industry over stuff like that because it's I mean it's it's really really like Chevron doctrine was put into place to keep companies from using like basically like litigation to get their way on any kind of product they wanted. um, like cause like just like okay just like how like us as citizens like there's always like that fear of like companies or whatever that like if you're a small or, if you're a small business trying to like fight a bigger business or whatever that they could just like sue you into bankruptcy or type deal, like they could cause so many legal problems for you that you basically should just do what they want you to do. unless like I mean if that would avoid you getting like overly sued like so that like and I mean that's sort of the situation creating. Granted, I'm being very like loose about this because like my specialty is not like understanding like that aspect of it. But as far as my take like goes, like yeah, like Chevron doctrine was like put into place to stop the using like the abuse of the judicial system by companies to just basically like use money to cause problems like while they're trying to get like their way on which is usually cutting corners on products, trying to get something pushed to market that really shouldn't, like THCO, like and it also creates some, like opportunities for corruption because now, like, I mean, what take does the judge have in this? Like, it's just cause, so now like the option is that now you can get like another judge to be like, oh no, like that's like, and like it's just gonna create problems. It's gonna clog up our legal system like crazy. Like and that's bad. Like our legal system is already clogged up enough as it is. So yeah, that'll be a problem. And that would really suck if cannabis related law ended up being a big part of like what ends up choking up the legal system, judicial system, whatever. Um, like because of all this bullshit. I mean, this is how people get it so easy to like get like a court dates pushed back and stuff because it's already so bogged down. But I digress on that. um, but like yeah, so I am curious. Like also, if any of you guys like have like any stories about like these type of products, like Roger like said, like like you tried it, really didn't like it. I mean, hey, like if anyone who's tried and had a positive experience with it, I love to hear about it too. Um, like because like to get an accurate picture you need to hear all sides of this. Like granted, I have negative feelings about THCO, but at the same time I'm not like, oh, I'm gonna fight anybody who ever tried to smoke it. No, like it's we need to learn a heck of a lot more about it. Like everything that people are saying about weed right now, like, oh, we still have to research it so much more before we can trust it. No, all of that's just what they should be saying about THCO. On the real tip. I mean, I don't know. I think that seems obvious to me. But I like what we can say though is that THCO offers a glimpse into the future of cannabis. Potent, synthetic, and surrounded by debate. um, I like uh, like as we advocate for clarity and safety in cannabis products, like we got to remain informed. We've got to remain vigilant. Uh, I honestly, I don't even know at this point. I'm sitting there thinking about who I could write about this, like whatever. But it's not even at that point. I'm not. I don't want a politician to try and solve this point. Like outside of helping educate, like spread the word, share the podcast, like share the episode, or just like, or I don't know, just like maybe be more inquisitive with the folks like we see vaping around us too. Be like, hey, what are you vaping on, whatever. And if anyone ever says like, oh, it's like this THCO thing, be like, hey, did you know? Did you know that THCO acetate when it vaporizes, if that THCO wasn't made to like under very stringent and strict conditions and standards, when it vaporizes, it could produce ketones. And they can say, what's that? It's ketene, ketones. And these ketones cause serious lung problems like EVALI. So if you remember the issues with the vape carts and the vitamin E acetate, then you are familiar with ketones and EVALI. Um, this is a very distinct possibility, especially because THCO is not a regulated like product. Um, So with that in mind, like we have to like we really need to look out for ourselves because like your health, like and your rights are paramount in this ever evolving landscape. Um and, oh yeah, Roger, you're absolutely right. There's big money behind the synthetics industry. Oh, I would not be surprised if all this THCO stuff was big pharma. Because remember, I remember that research I pulled out a little while back that was looking at other synthetic cannabinoids and their ability to kill cancer cells, and they were all synthetic cannabinoids that they were testing. They did test THC, and it did have a decent effect, just not as powerful as the synthetic cannabinoids. And I'm pretty sure that the company was the ones who had the patents on these synthetic cannabinoids. So they're like a pharmaceutical company. Um, Yo, Dab 30, time for some Mango Mac 1. Gee Williker, that sounds good. In fact, you know what? I think it is time for another bowl ourselves as we wrap things up here. Um, yeah. You know what? We're gonna do another bowl of this Wa Ting. Sometimes I like to like shake it up, change it up just a little bit. But this is like, man, when you got some smooth smoke, you just gotta like, yeah, enjoy that shit. And honestly, this high is legit as fuck. Like it's definitely a rush, but it's also pretty balanced too. I feel like if I was not talking about such a like such a subject that like I feel so strongly about, I feel like I wouldn't be like like I feel like I'd still be pretty like chill. I'd be like like this is like I mean like almost like high when I was like a kid. Like I mean, granted, I started smoking when I was like 17, 18, so not really like a kid, but a kid, like half my life ago. um, no, oh, a little over. Oh, I've been smoking for longer than I have been smoking. Now, granted, I'm sure there's some of you guys that hit that barrier a long time ago, but like I said, I didn't start smoking until I was like 17, 18. In fact, I remember my first sesh ever. Um, I remember the bowl. It was one of those. It was a bubbler. One of those like the. It was like the one of those tall ones that kind of sat on like a small base. It was real easy to knock over. It was like yellow with like an orange squiggle in it. It was not the best of circumstances. Like I was peer pressured, um, but also at the same time, like looking back, thinking about the things that I was saying about it. And granted, I wasn't dogging it, but I was ignorant as hell about it. Because like, which of course, like me being like personality that I have, I'm like always just trying to like learn. Um, as much as I can like about a topic and when I was already like doing coursework that was sort of aligned with it. I was doing chemistry courses at the time and then I took a course where I heard that I could learn more about like cannabis and other substances like it and um I don't know. So it was like it was a really just like it was a lot of stuff coming together. That like there was really good. It was really good. Yeah, the goddess found me. Um, Better late than never. Now, although there are people that I know that like they started smoking, like in their like late, um, in their mid 30s. Um, I don't know many people that have started smoking much later than that. Like, what's the latest that the oldest that you've heard of or met anyone rather? Like, I would like it to be first person. I want to like know like I heard of somebody that like started smoking when they were like 50. But does anyone like know anybody like or whatever that like they started token when like just at like an age that kind of made you like blink a little bit. You're like, whoa, what? You started smoking then? Like, whoa, that's crazy. Good for you. Oh, oh Alex, you said your first sets was 15 out of a monster can in a homemade shack in the woods. by creek out the back of my friend's house. Yeah, yeah, that's what's up. Yeah. Hey, it's funny. And I will, I'll say this. um, on my breaks, I used to sometimes go out into the woods and smoke weed, and I would sometimes go to the fire pit and smoke like a little like ceramic like cigarette like pinch hitter while everyone else was smoking cigarettes. uh oh boy. Now, all right. Um, my first time was yeah, Rock Farmer said my first time was 9 with family, but I didn't partake again until 14. Hey, I mean, like there are sketchier ways to do it. Like, I mean, at least if it's your folks giving it to you. They're like you're like, are you sure? Like, where was this like before you got this out? um, yeah, but yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, this man, this THCO thing. Yeah, nah, fuck that. I got some thoughts on it, but I'll save it for after this bull hit. Um, I will save it for after this bull hit. Let's see, where we're gonna do the full. Let's go. Yeah, cheers, everybody. Yeah, I know you already been. Probably took a hit. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Whoo. Oh my gosh. Whoo. Nice. Now, very nice. Which token on, bud? Alex, you said you just finished a king size joint. Yo, nice, nice. Whoo, boy, you getting litty. Yo, but so right, so as we wrap up, right, this deep dive into THCO, um, really crucial to reflect on this broader context of cannabis legalization and all these synthetic cannabinoids because THCO is there are going to be other ways that they can try and manipulate it. Like I don't know if you guys, like I said with the K2 stuff, there was literally there were like dozens and dozens and dozens of different versions of that. Like they couldn't outlaw the synthetics for like fast enough, and each of them were very similar like to THCO, just made in a different process. Uh, Now, in states where cannabis is still under prohibition, products like THCO often are going to find their niche there. And like because of this legal gray area that's being opened up by these judges, and like, and then also of course like the potent effects. Like I mean, like when you have this is the yeah, like this was where it truly brings us like this the most critical point of the like unintended or maybe intended consequences of prohibition. When substances are criminalized, there's a trend towards increasing potency in the alternatives that emerge on the market. um like I mean, we've seen it all over the place. I mean, look at fentanyl. Like, and someone was just telling me that there's a special type of fentanyl that's way stronger than than the fentanyl that like most people are saying. Like what? Why? Now, aside from the obvious safety concerns, including the lack of oversight and basic regulation, there's another question that we need to ponder. Like, how will the bodies of consumers who in these states, right, that are getting THCO, right, who have adjusted, right, to the intense effects of THCO, right? Now looking at these people, because we looked at the people who have all these negative responses. What about the people that keep riding this dragon and get used to these intense effects? Like, how are they going to respond to real cannabis if and when it becomes legally available to them? It is it going to have like because I know, like, like a lot of people, like they'll go back and forth between dabs and flower and stuff like that, and you can dab and then smoke flower and get those effects, but like THCO is 3 times as powerful as like THC. It's like it's looking at it on a scale that like is interacting with our bodies quite differently. Um, I mean, this adjustment could be significant as the body like in its tolerance and reactions to less potent and natural forms of cannabis like might actually like differ drastically from the synthetic counterparts. um so like that's like where the importance of like pushing like sensible drug policies that kind of focus on just like the safety, right? Regulated um, products, education, like understanding, like what THCO is, like, and how it can affect us, because there should not be people confidently trying to argue that THCO acetate doesn't in an unregulated market doesn't have the possibility of having a ketene a situation and Andy Valley like that means the education needs to catch up significantly because this should be common knowledge. Um, but also like we need like sensible like regulations rather than prohibition. Like as like I mean is obvious. So we like I mean I think we all do, but I'm like just for the sake of anyone who's listening that has like that isn't thinking on this level, like advocating for decriminalization and regulation of cannabis, like so we can help prevent the rise of potentially dangerous synthetic cannabinoids, like and to ensure customers have access to safe tested products is paramount. Like decriminalization. Um, right, guys. So remember, knowledge. Right, first step. Um, like and like we get that. And we're getting towards like better advocacy. So let's just keep educating. I'm gonna keep learning as much as I can about these things, and then like passing that on to like all of you guys. Um, Like granted, TCO is one that I've already known a lot about, but like granted, it was good to like refresh on this and like revisit like just like how like it is, because like I mean I'm still waiting for like the positive benefits like as these all these cannabinoids are coming out, and like I mean There are so many cannabinoids, natural cannabinoids that like I like. Is it like possible that there's a synthetic one that we could make that would be just as good? I don't know, but I do know that smoking it, like and um, that's definitely no good. I wouldn't, not until we were in a very well stabilized like market that has like good regulations on like how they do their processes. um, but yeah, guys. Well, yeah, yeah, Lobo. I no, I agree. That I mean, that's what I mean. Decriminalization, and like descheduling. That's I mean that I in my mind that is very much hand in hand. Although, like to be right in a very like technical sense, like if they were to decriminalize it and then try to leave it on the schedule, that would just be the ultimate slap in the face. I, I honestly, I feel like I would be ready to fight at that point. If they were like we decriminalized it, but it's still on the schedule control stuff, I'd be ready to fight. I'd be ready to fight. um, yeah, yeah, we got to use the right language. You're absolutely right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Language semantics. Like, it's funny. I was just talking about this with somebody earlier today. And I mean, they were telling me, and they were like, and I agreed completely. Semantics are important. That's like especially because we're talking about written law. Like, semantics are the reason why the farm bill's the way it is right now. So you know what? Yeah, 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 yeah. Like, yeah, yeah, Lobo, you're right. You're right. I'm definitely with you on that. Definitely with you on that. Um, but yeah, um, guys, I love you guys. Stay curious. Maintain a healthy caution. We ain't trying to be like to the point where we shut down progress. But we do want to be really mindful whenever we make something that's synthetic. That we're saying, hey, let's ingest this, and then you have some people that are having negative like outcomes from it. Like that needs to be really explored and flushed out thoroughly before we just keep having people using it like that. So like that judge is like bonkers. Um, but right. Also, guys, as always, stay high. Yeah, thanks for joining me on Enki's Canonical. Uh, Check me out. Give me a like and a subscribe. I'm on every Monday at 8. I also drop videos from time to time. Check out this video that I just dropped over the weekend. I'm pointing, but there's probably no thing there, like, for those watching way later. But yeah, make sure you guys are taking care of yourself and showing yourselves love every day. All right. Um, Oh yeah, yeah, definitely check it out from the beginning. And also, if you ever do any of the Facebook stuff, Enki's Canonical is on Facebook, and like I will like share articles and like post stuff like on there too, like talking about different stuff. Like so, you guys check that out. And at some point, I'm gonna start my own Reddit, but I just like there's just not enough interest yet for that. But yeah, guys.